The PlayStation Days of Play sale is live, and there are some genuinely incredible deals in here. I went through the whole thing, and we're going to start with the best ones out there. Number 1 is God of War Ragnarok, 67% off for $19.79. One of the best games on PS5 for under $20. You got Kratos and Atreus traveling the 9 realms, an incredible story, and combat that feels absolutely perfect. Don't have to ramble on about it, you get the point. Moving on, we got Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered, 50% off for $25. The definitive PS5 version of one of the best superhero games ever made. My favorite part though, is the web swinging around New York, which feels incredible. The story is a really well crafted Peter Parker adventure, and it looks stunning. Just too good. Or you can also go for Spider-Man Miles Morales, 57% off for $21.49. Miles' own story, and one of the most heartfelt superhero games made to date. You explore his bioelectric venom powers, make the combat feel completely fresh, and the story hits genuinely hard. Under $22 is a must-buy. And speaking story-rich games, we got The Last of Us Part 1, 58% off for $29.39. The ground-up PS5 remake of one of the greatest games ever made. You got Joel and Ellie crossing a post-apocalyptic America and delivering one of the most emotionally powerful stories in gaming. Then we got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 Royal Edition, 60% off for $36. Of course, it's a bit on the pricey side, but for one of the best games of the year, and the Royal Edition includes all the DLC, is a great deal. Those who don't know, this one's a massive realistic medieval RPG, with no magic and no fantasy, just brutal historical immersion and an incredible story. Then we got Silent Hill F, 50% off for $35. The newest Silent Hill set in 1960s rural Japan, and genuinely one of the most terrifying and visually striking horror games in years. The Japanese setting, wrapped in Silent Hill's nightmare imagery, is something completely unique. Then we got Split Fiction, 30% off for $35. The newest game from Hazelight, the studio behind It Takes Two, and already being talked about as one of the best co-op games ever made. 2 writers pulled into their own fiction, genre-hopping adventures together. Just brilliant. Even at only 30% off, this one is absolutely worth it. Then we got Gran Turismo 7, 58% off for $29.39. A great, if not the best, racing simulator on PlayStation with a massive car roster and stunning detail. Also supports PSVR 2. Rare to see it this cheap, and under $30 for GT7 is a solid deal. Then we got Days Gone Remastered, 40% off for $30. The open world zombie motorcycle game brought to PS5 with improved visuals and performance. The horde mechanics are genuinely impressive, and the story is better than people give it credit for. Then we got No Man's Sky, 60% off for $24. One of the greatest redemption arcs in gaming. What launched as a disappointment has become one of the most content-rich space exploration games ever made. You are exploring planets, building bases, surviving space, and so much more. $24 for everything it has become today is a great deal. Then we got Phasmophobia, 30% off for $14. The co-op ghost hunting game that is still one of the best multiplayer horror experiences you can have. You and friends investigate haunted locations, gathering evidence while trying not to get killed. Then we got Street Fighter 6, 50% off for $20. The best Street Fighter in years, with a great World Tour mode, a solid roster, and one of the most accessible yet deep fighting systems the series has ever had. $20 for one of the solid fighting games on the platform is a strong deal. Then we got Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Cross-Gen Bundle, 60% off for $28. The Cross-Gen Bundle gives you both PS4 and PS5 versions. $28 for a full COD package is solid value if you want to stay current with the series. Then we got the original Modern Warfare reboot, 67% off for $19.79. The 2019 game that rebooted the whole storyline and is still one of the best COD campaigns in recent years. Then we got the Outlast Trials, 70% off for $12. The multiplayer spin-off, where you and up to 3 friends are test subjects in a Cold War era facility trying to survive horrific experiments. The co-op makes it less scary, but way more fun, and $12 for the full experience is a great deal. Then we got DayZ, 55% off for $24.74. The original hardcore survival game dropped into a massive open world with nothing, surviving both zombies and other players. This one's brutal, unforgiving, and unlike any other survival game. Then we got Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, 45% off for $22. The full open world FNAF game exploring a massive pizza entertainment complex at night. It has some rough edges, but the scale and ambition for the series is really exciting. Then we got Stray, 50% off for $15. The game where you play as a cat trying to find its way back to a lost family in a neon-lit cyberpunk city full of robots, and it is just as charming as it sounds. The world is beautiful, the puzzles are clever, and the whole thing is genuinely touching. Then we got CarX Street, 50% off for $15, an open-world street racing game with a really satisfying drift-focused driving model and a big city to explore. Then we got High on Life, 65% off for $14, the comedy sci-fi shooter from Rick and Morty's Justin Roiland, where your guns are alive and talk to you constantly. Genuinely funny throughout with that very specific Rick and Morty humor. Then we got Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, 50% off for $10. The latest chapter in the hugely popular horror puzzle series, continuing the story with new mechanics and new nightmare fuel. Then we got MX vs ATV Legends, 75% off for $10. The long-running off-road racing series with a big open world and a huge roster of vehicles including motocross bikes, ATVs, and UTVs. Now we are closing out with the absolute best value deals on this list. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, 80% off for $8. One of the greatest and my personal favorite RPGs ever made for $8. You got Geralt, a massive open world, side quests better than most games' entire main stories, and so much more. Then we got Hades, 65% off for $8.74. One of the greatest roguelites ever made. You are the son of Hades, fighting out of the underworld over and over, and somehow it never gets old, because the story actually progresses through every run. Then we got Fallout 4, 60% off for $8. A massive post-apocalyptic open-world RPG with hundreds of hours of content. $8 for all of that is just wild value, especially if you got into Fallout through the TV show and want to experience the games for yourself. Then we got Mortal Kombat 1, 80% off for $10. The newest MK with the rebooted timeline, incredible visuals, brutal fatalities, and one of the best story modes in the series. Then we got the Mafia Trilogy, 80% off for $12. 3 full Mafia games in one package. The Mafia 1 Definitive Edition remake is stunning, Mafia 2 has one of the best crime stories in gaming, and Mafia 3 rounds it all out. $12 for all 3 is an insane amount of content. Then we got A Way Out, 70% off for $9. A co-op only prison break game that is genuinely gripping from start to finish. You and a friend break out of prison and try to stay free, and the variety of gameplay and emotional story make it one of the best co-op experiences available. Then we got Rainbow Six Siege Elite Edition, 50% off for $10. One of the most tactically deep and still massively active competitive shooters out there. The Elite Edition gives you a solid head start on operators. $10 for one of the longest running and best supported multiplayer shooters in gaming is great value. Then we got The Forest, 70% off for $6. A survival horror game where you crash land on a mysterious island and have to survive against a tribe of cannibalistic mutants. Genuinely terrifying atmosphere, and even better in co-op. And then we have Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, 75% off for $5, where you get to create your own Dragon Ball character and fight through iconic moments from the series' history. The amount of content here with years of updates is just staggering for $5. A must-buy for Dragon Ball fans or just anime fans in general, and one of the best value deals on this entire list.